the day I met Rebecca, it was an emotional day. You know how to get in the car and drive away with her from what the only thing that she's ever known. She's cried. I'm trying to reassure her that it's going to be okay. Now, for a few years, April and I had been praying that God would change John's life for adoption, like soften his heart towards adoption, right? I was always trying to get him kids. But my boys, I was like, John, hug the boys. You need some boys in that house. He never hugged them, and they stayed at my house. But April, anytime I bring work home, as my husband would call it, bringing the work home, anytime I did, April was always the first at church to want to help me with whatever we needed. Do you need diapers? Do you need clothes? Whatever. This particular time, she didn't ask me what I needed. She said, hey, now this is right before Thanksgiving, guys. Hey, can we take her to buy some things? Take her to lunch? I said, take her. And she said, yeah. I was like, well, and I'm going through my head, it's the week of Thanksgiving coming up. I am swamped with caseload. Sure, you can take her. You can take her for the day. We met, and they were going to take her to lunch, and she let me know John was going to be there. And I said, okay, I'm going to pick her up later. And it was the evening time before I made it to their house. I told her I didn't know what time I would show up. And I walked in. We had been praying for a long time, April and I. But when I looked at this man in the eyes, and he said, that's our daughter, I knew. Rebecca never came back to my house. She never came back home with me. There's a lot of trauma in adoption on all ends. There's a lot of brokenness. But again, God is such a God of restoration and a God of healing. And I just, I look at, I don't know if any of you know some of adoption statistics, but when I started ABBA, and you all know that ABBA means father, right? Daddy is that intimate word of daddy. And many moms, they want to place, because they want their babies to have a mom and a dad. That's what we hear often. And ABBA was already so special of a word to me, as I had been adopted, and I had my own story that brought me into working in adoption. My husband and I made the decision to be a voice for life because we had also made some difficult decisions when we were young. My place of working in adoption didn't initially start because I was adopted. It started because I chose abortion. And I wanted to make sure no other mom would choose abortion if I got the chance to talk to her. 85% of all the babies that took place were abortion-minded. Their moms were abortion-minded when I get face-to-face with them. 25% of adopted children actually go into Christian homes. That's staggering. Every year I go to the National Adoption Conference because, I've got to get my CEUs. And when I go, I'm one of the only very few agencies that are Christian at these adoption conferences. This year, it was me and I think one other, maybe. Over 100 agencies there. Most of the adoption agencies are extremely liberal, and we stand out, we stand alone in the fight. Arkansas, we overturned abortion here, right? Amen? Worked hard on that, guys. What a blessing. Yeah. We give God God the glory on that. But guess what that did? That tells us if abortion is overturned, right? No more abortion in Arkansas, that says adoption is going to go up, right? Well, guess what? The national liberal agencies pour a ton of money into Arkansas, into this state, because of abortion being overturned. They pour tons of money in marketing. We're a small agency, but we stand on biblical principles. We are unwavering. I will not take any federal funds, period. We will not allow the government to tell us who we have to place with. It's one of the reasons why I refuse personally to work with the foster system, because it opens the door. It opens the door, and it's a door that I will not allow to be opened as long as there's breath in my body. So we need your help. When Chris and I made the decision to really take a different place in life and start ABBA, and we got a daughter that's high medical special needs. Most of you know her, some of you don't, but she's right over there, and she's the out of 7 kids, she rules the roost. But you know, we made the decision to really do some hard sacrifices in our family to make sure that, one, she had the right family, 2, that we continue to do what we knew that God called us to do. We actually got into a lawsuit over her because of several things, and one being that the state wanted to see every family that I had refused to place her with based upon religion. I got under a 2-week investigation because of that. I told them I was a private agency. It didn't matter. The only thing they needed to be concerned with was that I was following the licensing standards. But ABBA adoption will always only place with Christian families.